In order to have a story that doesn't go off the rails, you need to plan out through multiple steps. There is a step in which you're trying to just figure out the log line of your story. There's a step where you're trying to figure out the beat sheet. There's a step where you're trying to figure out your chapter outline or your treatment if it's a script. What you're doing at each step is you're stress testing your story to make sure it holds together at each increasing level of complexity in its implementation. So let's take a look at the beat sheet. So here you can see it's a beat sheet, it says it right there. And you can see some of the things I put on a beat sheet, and it's modeled on Blake Snyder's Save the Cat, but I've kind of changed it a little bit for my own purposes. I've left numbers in here. These are kind of the page numbers if it was a screenplay, a feature-length screenplay, where more or less these things are going to happen. This is an example of a beat sheet I worked on for a story that jumps around in time. And when I'm moving around in time to keep track of it myself, it's like this is the present time. Blue is what's happening in one timeline, and then red is what's happening in another timeline. This is all about keeping track of pacing so that I can start to feel how it's going to be when it's fully extended. Anyway, I hope that gives you some idea of that planning process. You really are trying to figure out a number of key things when you're doing a beat sheet. It's not yet at the stage where you're trying to create the connective tissue between like the transitions between all the moments and all the beats, but you're trying to figure out what the beats are, what happens before what. And it's easy at this stage to just cut a paragraph and move that paragraph into another position. If you found that useful, share it with your friends, give it a like, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.